This episode of Nicknames Movies is brought to you by those underwear wedgies that you get in the middle of your workday, and you can't get rid of them without someone noticing. So Karen walks over and she's like, "Hey, what are you doing?" And you're like, "Damn it, Karen! I'm trying to get rid of this wedgie. That's so awkward." Welcome back to Nicknames Movies, a show where your host Nick names movies. It's pretty self-explanatory. It's pretty simple. I'm joined with my, I guess after the last episode, my special guest, because you need that special treatment.
I appreciate that.
Yeah, well,
finally.
Thank you for coming.
Get some goddamn recognition.
Whoa! You had to share a microphone. You didn't have to share my love. So not like that.
Oh, like that.
Yeah. I guess this week we can talk about the movie we both saw that just came out, Detective Pikachu. Sorry, Pokemon Detective Pikachu.
You gotta put the Pokemon in front of it.
With no colon, so
nobody knows who Pikachu is,
yeah.
so they can't connect it to Pokemon.
He's a Pokemon Detective Pikachu. So there's not a colon, there's not a comma.
Yeah.
It's all one run-on sentence there. So I guess we could just talk about kind of what we thought about it. And, what did you think about it?
I thought it was good. It was a good movie with, I think, some small flaws, but really kind of better than I think the concept really deserved to be.
Right.
But yeah, it was fun. I laughed. Maybe not as much as I initially was expecting going in.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was entertaining. It was a nice little movie.
Oh, cool. I thought the exact same thing. I haven't played a Pokemon game since like Pokemon Gold and Silver.
Wow.
Long time ago.
So you don't know what the fuck you're talking about.
Well, I know what I'm talking about, all right? And I know what a Pikachu is.
I kid.
I know the Lickitangs and the Tanglers and the... No, I went in and I was like, okay, I'm going to be surrounded by kids, which I was.
Yes.
And I was going to be, annoyed by all the kids going, "Oh yeah, the Jigglypuff." Oh,
did someone do that?
No.
For Jigglypuff?
No, and unfortunately, the Jigglypuff only showed up for like half a second.
Yeah, I thought that they would stick around there for a little while.
Yeah, other than hot balloon form, but.
Yeah.
No, you get to see a whole bunch of Pokemon, and they used a lot of Pokemon from like Gen 1, Gen 2, and then like they sprinkled in some of the new ones.
So yeah, quite a few later gen guys actually made an appearance.
Yeah.
There too.
So there were some Pokemon that I didn't recognize, but there was the Pikachus and Jigglypuffs.
Yeah.
But the movie is for Pokemon fans, right?
Yeah, I would say Pokemon fans and kids.
And kids, yeah, of course. But the movie itself, as a film, if you want to go in like a critic and just be a total
critic,
total critic about it, it's not a perfect story. Some of the acting is a little like over the top,
or really understated. Like I feel like they could have gotten maybe a few more takes out of a couple people on certain lines before going with the final one.
When they introduced the girl detective.
Yeah, she's been in more stuff, though, hasn't she?
Yeah, she has experience. Hold on, I'll look it up.
I kept thinking, like, man, I don't know where I know her from, but I know her from somewhere.
She looks like the girl from... She looks like... Hold on.
Yeah, it was like the eyebrows. Eyebrows kept on making me think I had seen her in something.
She looks like... What is her name? She was in Twilight. She was in Push. The little girl. Abigail Breslin. No, not Abigail Breslin.
Chloe Martinez? Is that any?
No. Hold on. I gotta look up Seriously? The cast. Look up the cast. No, she looks like... It's gonna bother me. Also, Suki Waterhouse was a Pokemon in this movie.
Yeah, with no speaking role.
Yeah. Probably for the best. Catherine Newton. So she has been in The Society, which I think is that Netflix
that's
show.
a new Netflix thing.
Yeah, Big Little Lies, Cock Blockers, but they just called it Blockers. Paranormal Activity 4.
Oh, it's Paranormal Activity 4.
Because she was the one on the laptop, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ugh. I wish I had known now.
No. Oh, Elle Fanning. That's who I was thinking of. The Fannings.
Ah.
She looks like a Fanning.
Yeah.
Fanning. But, yeah, I mean, okay, so a lot of the acting is like, seriously. The Pokemon are acting better than you are.
Yeah.
But that's what you're there for.
I think probably the most well-known star in this, aside from obviously Ryan Reynolds, who voices Pikachu,
Yeah.
is probably Bill Nighy.
So you pronounce it Bill Nighy, right?
I mean, that's how I just pronounced it. So yeah, I'm gonna say that's how I.
Oh, I'm just saying, like maybe slip of the I say Bill Nye, like this, and I know that he's also the science guy, but it's a different.
Yeah, that's a different person. Dude.
It's Nighy.
That would track though to see Bill Nye into this Pokemon movie.
That would be pretty cool. Not gonna lie, but I see the most well known, but I wouldn't say he does his best in this movie.
Oh no, I was definitely not saying this is the best that the actor has ever done. I was just saying, profile-wise, that he's probably the most well-known.
And Ken Watanabe as the...
Yeah, I love Ken Watanabe, but I don't think he's more well-known.
Internationally, he is.
Yeah,
this is an international movie.
Yeah.
This movie will make more money overseas.
But I guarantee you, Timmy's, grandma, who would not shut the hell up the entire... This grandma that found everything so freaking hilarious. Like,
that's lovely.
She was laughing at like one-liners from the Angry Birds 2 trailer that played before it.
Oh boy!
And I was like, oh man, I'm in for a ride here.
Did you have the Sonic movie trailer play before yours?
No, I didn't.
I didn't either. I think they're doing that on purpose.
Oh yeah, I'm sure they're pulling it. But yeah, like I don't think Timmy's grandma is gonna know who Ken Watanabe is for a pretty bit part in the movie.
Yeah, but I think again they got Ken Watanabe for international audiences.
And can I just say that he deserves more than these bit parts?
Yeah, like Godzilla.
Between this and Godzilla, and like they just keep on like throwing him in there, and it's like he's so great that he could do so much more.
I think this is it's purposeful on his part because he's older.
He just doesn't want to do big parts.
Yeah, he's not an action star, but like look, I'm looking at his filmography. Last Samurai.
Inception was probably the biggest thing he's been in
since Last Samurai
for a big role. Yeah. But I mean, like he doesn't have to be like an action guy. He can have a more solid role without having being pushed to the side.
They did an adaptation of The King and I where he played the king. So I think that pretty much explains.
Oh yeah.
So he's literally half of the main characters. So I'm just saying they're like. Maybe a lot of the movies where he's the main character, Transformers, The Last Night.
Yeah, I forgot he was in Isle of Dogs.
Isle of Dogs, yeah. You can't really tell because he's speaking entire Japanese throughout the entire film. Great movie.
Yeah, fantastic. Anyway, back to
Detective Pikachu. Yeah. Do you want to go into spoilers? I know that we'll kind of.
We can. I don't think it's really necessary to talk about.
No, we don't have
for
to
this movie. Whereas with Endgame, it's kind of like, well, yeah, like
there's
the whole crux of the discussion is what happens. Whereas I think, I mean, again, we can. I'm totally down. We can just have a buffer beforehand.
Yeah.
But there's really not a whole lot to spoil. Like there's a couple quote unquote twists.
Yeah.
One of which is like.
It's very twisty.
Not that one. I don't even know. I guess I'll save it if we do the discussion.
Okay.
One of them is just so telegraphed that it's like.
I think I know what you mean.
Yeah.
I think I know what you mean. But when it comes to like the main story and the antagonist and everything like that, how it keeps kind of flip flopping, like.
Yeah, that's exactly what I'm talking about.
So going into this movie, know that it is meant for kids and people
Yeah.
who enjoy Pokemon. It's really just like, hey, come to this world of Pokemon where people and Pokemon live together.
And that's why I'm not like going to get super down on it. Or
Yeah.
really anything that it does, you know, because as subpar as some of it is, and as better executed as it could have been in places, I think for what it is, what this movie is, and what it's trying to achieve, it actually does a really good job.
Yeah.
And kids are gonna love it. I mean, all the kids in my theater were having a great time.
Yeah.
As much as I wanted to, you know,
Stop yelling.
You know, stab
I'm having
myself
fun.
in the ears, but
You're here to enjoy a film, all right?
Yeah. Don't you kids know the proper actions in a theater?
Yeah, it's to sit there quietly with your legs crossed and your arms crossed.
But this is counter to what you were saying the other week with Endgame, is you wanted people to be more active.
And here's the thing. I went back to go see it,
Uh-huh.
and there was a guy who sat next to me, took his shoes off, first off.
Oh, God.
Yeah, and
That's
thought that was
awful.
okay. You tell me.
Um,
Yes, the answer is yes. Not cool, by the way. Don't take your shoes off in the theater. I
yeah,
don't care
really
how.
Don't take your shoes off anywhere in public unless it's a beach, I think.
Yeah.
I don't really.
Yeah,
Like, that's
or if you're trying on shoes at a department store or something.
Yeah, well, you're putting more shoes back on to try shoes on.
Well,
so.
you say that, but there are probably crazy people who are just walking around the store in their new shoes that they're going to buy. I know there are people out there.
Oh yeah.
I forgot what my point was.
You were saying how.
Oh, I went back to
Skyler
Avengers
Endgame
Endgame,
for you.
and I kind of got the people who are like, oh yeah, because they had never
Yeah.
seen it. But this was the Wednesday after the release of the movies.
So it's a little bit more muted.
Yeah,
in there.
because people had already seen it once,
Yeah.
twice, 3 times. But it was sporadic, which was actually okay, because if everyone was screaming when Captain says Avengers Assemble,
Right. Yeah.
then
Well, it's probably your attitude. I think for that would probably be a little bit different if it had been your first time.
Yeah.
I don't think. Unfortunately for you, no matter how many times you go back and see that movie in theater, I don't think you're getting that first time experience because you've seen it.
yeah,
And like you said, more people have seen it. So I think if you're in that situation where you're watching it with maybe a few people kind of littered throughout that haven't seen it at all, and then they're overreacting, but then the rest of the theater is kind of like, can you be quiet? Because this is like my second or third time seeing this.
yeah. I'm trying
And
to
I
watch
would
that
like
one scene
to-
that I missed.
Yeah, I would like to properly digest everything that's going on here. So I think you kind of got robbed. From that,
That's all right. I'll get it whenever I go see John Wick next week.
Oh, there you go.
I'm excited.
Yeah, I mean that's gonna be great.
I'm triple featuring that, and you're more than welcome to.
Oh yeah, definitely.
I mean, come on over. I'm getting the tickets when I get paid.
Oh, is that how commerce works?
Yeah. Well, I get we're not sponsored or anything by it, but I have the Cinemark Movie Club, and so you get a
not
free.
sponsored.
You what?
Hashtag not sponsored.
Not spon. Yeah, hashtag not sponsored. I said I was.
Did you?
Detective Pikachu. The reason I asked about the spoiler warning thing is because I guess we already spoiled it before I mentioned that the Suki Waterhouse plays a non-speaking role because she plays a Pokemon.
Oh yeah, I didn't even. I mean, yeah, I guess that is.
I didn't even recognize her because I don't.
Yeah.
She's been in one or two things. Rita Ora, I had no idea who that was, but she was apparently the doctor. But she's
Yeah,
also.
there were, I mean, the movie doesn't really focus.
It's got
It
Diplo
has
in there.
really 3 big parts. Well, 4 if you count Pikachu. That
Which
it's
I do.
It's focusing on.
Yeah.
And anything outside of those is just kind of filler.
Yeah.
They're there to play spots and kind of move the plot along. There's not really anything below the surface going on with this movie. It's more of a popcorn flick.
Are you telling me the role of Roger Clifford, played by Chris Gere, is non-essential?
I am absolutely.
He saves one of the main
I am
characters.
absolutely. Well, that. Okay, now we're just diving into full spoilers.
That's not full spoilers. Yeah, Because they won't know who Chris Gere is or the character that I mentioned that we won't
Unless
talk about.
they're thinking, like, I have to remember that character name.
Why would they do that? Why would they focus on someone that I just mentioned? Why would you...
We've spent 5 minutes pointing that out. Maybe now, huh?
Maybe I'm lying. Maybe I'm not trustworthy.
Oh.
Who's the creepiest Pokemon? Because they're lifelike.
I'm glad you asked this, because this is actually a question I was going to ask.
The microphone is slipping. Zach's microphone is duct taped to the table. We are, yeah. I should have mentioned at the top of the podcast, hey, don't touch the microphone because it's gonna fall off.
Okay. This is how I'm going to do the rest of the podcast. I'm just going to hold it like this.
Okay.
Creepiest Pokemon.
Yeah.
With the trailers, I was thinking Apom,
Mhm.
because all I had seen from Apom was that
With the teeth and
teeth.
the glowing eyes and
I
the
don't like Pokemon with teeth, by the way.
Yeah. Or hedgehogs.
Yeah, definitely not hedgehogs. Anthropomorphic animals, or whatever it's close to.
Yeah.
They should not have like full molars or anything like that.
No.
Just give them sharp, like, incisors.
Don't give them sharp teeth. No. Give them just like the block of white, like to where.
Well, yeah, I mean that would be preferable. But if you really want to flex your teeth tech, like maybe put like 1 or 2 in there, and then just keep it pointing. I don't like the herbivore teeth on animals. It looks weird.
Oh, okay. Well, I guess you can't have everything. What was the creepiest Pokemon?
Yeah, I'm trying to go through my head to remember all the little ones that just showed up. I guess. I mean, Ditto,
I'll give you a hint.
Ditto.
Yeah, I was gonna say I'll give you a hint. It's the character we mentioned before.
Yeah.
Only because they go whole Coraline effects with the
dot,
beady eyes.
Well,
no matter
I mean,
what
that's
they
how
mention.
that's always been the case with Ditto.
I know, but like to see it in live action and to see humans.
That is nightmare fuel.
And then also Gengar.
Oh yes, okay, yeah, I remember. Yeah, now that you mentioned Gengar, yes, I remember when they showed Gengar in that little battle scene. I was like, holy fuck,
that is horrifying.
Terrifying.
So I guess
I want to go
accomplished.
Gengar. Gengar freaked me out way more than Ditto did. Ditto was unsettling, I think. Gengar made me never want to see that Pokemon again.
Yeah, and the fact that it beat a Blastoise of all things.
Yeah.
Do you think that panned out right? A Blastoise versus a Gengar?
I mean, neither has type advantage. So
okay. Nerd. So in this movie, everyone in this Rhyme City, which apparently is the only city in the entire
it's
world.
a big mecca.
Yeah, it's
Well,
it's essentially that.
And that is kind of weird, but Pokemon has always kind of been like these big hubs interspersed with like small towns in between. So that doesn't bother me too much.
Okay.
Yeah. It's like a Celadon City sort of thing.
Yeah, where the Pokemon, like, they live. They're basically everyone has a partner in this universe.
It's weird that the main character does not have a Pokemon partner to the other characters in the film.
Can we? My biggest complaint about the movie is not Pikachu, which I would say is the main character.
Justin Smith.
Justice Smith or Tim Goodman.
Tim. Oh god, can we retire Goodman as a surname at this point?
It's not.
Oh, you be the good guy.
The good guy. Gotcha. or just Smith. Justice. Zach. No, he's just a wet blanket. He's just like the reason he doesn't. I won't go into full spoilers, but he doesn't like Pokemon for a very whiny reason.
And what's even weirder is it's never like touched upon how that connection is. Like they do say, this is why he doesn't like Pokemon, but that reason doesn't really make a whole lot of sense. But okay, so essentially he doesn't like Pokemon because his dad went off to Rhyme City
after
and was working with Pokemon, I guess, for a prolonged period of time.
Yeah.
And then kind of lost touch with his son.
But how can a kid who's still surrounded in a world of Pokemon
Right.
hate Pokemon?
And why is that Pokemon's fault?
Like, I would understand. Here's the thing. Let's get dark for a second.
Yeah.
Hypothetical. If I would understand if, like, a Pokemon killed his mom or something.
Yeah.
Or, like, cause a really deep tragedy that would make him hate or distrust Pokemon.
Yeah.
But no, he just doesn't like it because his dad chose Pokemon, quote unquote,
Well, he didn't
over
even
him.
really choose the Pokemon. He just
Exactly.
went to a different city to work.
Hence the quotes.
Yeah, and so like that's what I'm struggling with is like, just say you don't like your dad, man.
Yeah. Which he does. Like
Yeah.
at the beginning, he's like, I don't care about my dad. I just want to clear out.
Right, but then he's
his
trying
stuff.
to justify his like not wanting to be a Pokemon trainer. Like the dude works in insurance. You could still have a Pokemon. I'm
Yeah.
sure there's plenty of insurance agents that have like fucking drowsies or some shit.
Yeah, what's a good math Pokemon or to
I'm
help-
sure there's one.
to help you with math?
What's a really smart one? Probably a Psyduck, I would think, or Golduck,
No, yeah, Golduck probably. No, who's a really smart?
or Abra,
Abra would just teleport all your
Kadabra.
paperwork everywhere.
Alakazam. Think of the psychic ones.
What's really smart?
Plusle and Minun. It's in the name. It's Plusle and Minun.
But those would just, I
Those
guess.
are just mini Pikachus.
Let's see. Pokemon creatures. Which is the most intelligent Pokemon and why? Let's go to Korra.
Oh yes, an insurance agent with Metagross.
Metagross, which I'd never heard of. Alakazam. Oh yeah, IQ is 5,000. Well, damn.
There's a reason why he has so much psychic ability.
Slowking.
Interesting.
The Pokedex entry for Slowking is it has incredible intellect and intuition. Whatever the situation, it remains calm and collected.
Weird flex, bro, but okay.
That was a Slowking that wrote that. Because Metagross is a quote-unquote supercomputer. A Ranguru, Mewtwo, which...
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Let's see how well that goes.
Yeah.
Mewtwo and
Which
H&R Block or whatever.
Yeah. Drake's Dragonite has a moveset of 8 moves.
Specifically that
yeah.
Dragonite. No other
Arceus.
Dragonite. That's a god. That's literal god.
They actually reference it, which is I thought it was really
did.
cool.
Yeah, they had in one room there's statues, Dialga, Palkia, and Arceus.
And Pokemon and Pikachu even said, "Oh, for the love of Arceus."
Oh, did he?
Yeah,
I didn't catch that.
Yeah,
that's funny.
I think it was when they're in the studio and they're like, he couldn't find any coffee. He's like, "For the love of Arceus, can I get a cup of coffee?"
Okay.
Yeah, this Pikachu loves coffee, and
that's a legendary too.
Oh, is it?
They're recommending legendary Pokemon.
Well, they're probably super smart. Otherwise, they wouldn't be legendary.
Maybe that's the perfect place for a legendary Pokemon.
Yeah, as an insurance agency
no one's
in the middle of
gonna look
nowhere.
there.
Yeah. So, Google search aside, what would be your partner Pokemon if they were all real and all available to live in the world?
I've always been partial to Growlithe or
Growlithe?
Arcanines.
Yeah.
Which it's kind of, I know, kind of boring because they're pretty close to a dog.
Huh.
Or I've always really liked Raichu.
Raichu.
Yeah, and until recently, really liked Gengar too. But if that's the way he's gonna look in reality, fuck that shit.
Or Haunter or Ghastly.
Yeah.
Imagine Ghastly. That's just a face.
Yeah, nah.
Yeah. Who would I have? Because, I mentioned before that I'd only played Red and
so
Blue.
you have
Gold and
Gen
Silver.
1 and Gen 2 to work with. Now, granted,
Yeah.
all examples I gave actually just came from Gen 1.
Yeah,
So-
I was about to say, I recognize all
I
those
do
names,
have,
so...
favorites from each gen, but
Yeah.
like I would like a Totodile. from Gen
Totodile?
2, or a Cyndaquil.
So, off the top of my head, I'm thinking Ditto, first off, because he can take my place at school.
Oh,
He just needs to wear sunglasses.
but
Not
can
school,
he
work.
do anything? Like it's except for sit there?
I mean, he's able to fight.
That's true. Well, this one is, and they
Oh, yeah, 'cause
they
it's
specifically
genetically
say it's
enhanced.
a genetic experiment.
Yeah. So, they don't go into details about it, but if I got one of those, then yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of hand waving in this movie.
There is, but it's Pokemon,
It
so...
is. And it's a kids movie.
Yeah. Which we're forgiving a lot of this movie, but
I mean, I think
I had fun.
I think it's fair. Yeah, I had fun. It was a fun movie, and like this movie really isn't marketed to be critically analyzed. That's not what it's there. It's to make little Billy and little Timmy, whose grandma won't shut up, happy. And for the adults to laugh at the one-liners Deadpool is dropping. And
the risque jokes, yeah.
About cocaine and such.
Yeah. Yeah. I had a customer come into my work and start talking about it, and I was like, yeah, I mean, it's not Deadpool, but there's some risque
they
jokes
the
in there.
line pretty well, I think.
So the adults will get it, but the kids will be like,
Yeah.
it's Pikachu.
Yeah,
He's adorable.
They keep it pretty off the cuff in terms of how straight up they are with it.
Yeah.
But it's enough to be like, okay. I get what you're saying.
Yeah. The guy who directed Pokemon Detective Pikachu, Rob Letterman, directed Goosebumps. He directed... I had it pulled up. Hold on.
While you're starting off strong with Goosebumps, which I've never seen and never wanted to, because it looked horrendous.
That's a kid's movie. He directed Monsters vs. Aliens.
That was also bad.
Yeah, Gulliver's Travels.
I never saw that, but that was also supposed to be bad.
It was.
So, are you telling me that this is Detective Pikachu is this man's finest work?
He also directed Shark Tale.
Yes. Detective Pikachu is this man's finest work, which is okay. That's a good hill to die on.
Yeah.
You should just stop.
Just stop. And it's look at Rotten Tomatoes. Before I went to go see it, it was at a 66, which is still 50% higher than the one before it.
Detective Pikachu is at a 66?
It's at a 64 right now.
Oh.
Which isn't bad.
That's actually a little lower than I thought it was initially. I thought it was around the 70 mark.
It started off strong. Yeah. I think it started off...
Now it's come down.
Yeah. With just negative reviews from critics who are soulless.
Probably not giving it as much slack as we are.
Because they're movie critics. Yeah. Like, they're analyzing it as a movie, but we're also fans.
Well, we are also analyzing it as a movie. But
I know, but we're giving it a lot of slack because we're also fans of the IP that it's based off of.
I guess that's true.
I think, like, the highest rated video game movie underneath it is, like, Rampage at, like, 19%.
Like the recent Rampage?
Yeah.
I thought that was also higher than 19%.
Brendan Fletcher. Dwayne Johnson. There we go. 52%. Never mind. I was wrong.
Audiences liked it 73%.
That's the audience score. That's not the tomato meter.
Yes.
Don't confuse me. But still, it's the highest rated video game movie because it's, in my opinion, the one I would, like, if I had money to go buy a ticket right now, I'd be like, yeah, I'll go see it.
It's a fun movie.
Yeah. So would you recommend it to, say, if you bumped into a stranger on the street, you bumped into me, you don't know me, would you recommend the movie to me?
Yeah, I'd say, know what you're going into, which is, kind of a kiddie movie with that treads the line sometimes with a couple jokes. It's rated PG, which I think I had forgotten that going into it, so I think that might be why some of the humor, the beat-by-beat humor, wasn't for me, because, it's all, like, at a certain point it just becomes slapstick, and the one-liners kind of trail off a little bit.
Yeah.
Whereas I think if they had done a PG-13 movie, which they would never do.
No, not Nintendo.
Because they want Billy and Timmy to be in there with Grandma, who never shuts up. Then they could have done a little bit more.
Yeah, probably.
But for what it is, I think it's fun. It's definitely I think in the top 5 best video game movies.
What are the other 4?
Now
I'm curious.
I wish I had prepared what I was going to say after that statement, because as you were saying it was the best one, I was trying to think. I feel like there's another one that's better though.
Just like trying to remember off the top of your head. We'll Google this. We got time.
I feel like there was one that, like, really, it didn't follow any pre-established story. Oh God, no.
You didn't like the new Tomb Raider?
I haven't seen the new Tomb Raider.
It's not bad.
I thought you were talking about the Angelina Jolie
Oh, those ones.
Tomb Raider. Those are B flicks
At best.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
Oh yes, Mortal Kombat. That's the best one.
So let's go down the list. We'll just go through this really quick. Super Mario Brothers, which Illumination is making a CG
Yeah, I saw that
version of it.
Ah.
I mean, it's all entirely CG. They may Smurfs it and like just shit the bed, but it might actually be. It's Illumination. The animation will be good at the very least.
I've never been an Illumination fan.
Oh, okay. Fuck you then.
Secret Life of Pets was okay, and I have actually never really liked Despicable Me, and that's one of those movies that I'm kind of on the outside of like not really understanding the appeal.
I mean, that's not just for kids. That's for like little kids.
Yeah.
With the minions and stuff.
So I don't know.
Double Dragon. A lot of these are in the early 90s and 80s and stuff, so just bear with us. Double Dragon, Street Fighter, classic. A lot of these, the first three, Super Mario Brothers, Double Dragon, and Street Fighter, are just so fun to watch. They're fun because they're so bad.
Yes, absolutely.
Because the studios that made them just didn't care. Mortal Kombat, same. Mortal Kombat Annihilation.
Which is even better.
Because it's even worse.
You can believe it.
Yeah. Lara Croft Tomb Raider, the Angelina Jolie one. Resident Evil, the first one.
Yeah, that was decent. That was a decent flick.
Decent, right?
Yeah.
I think I know which movie you're mentioning from before. Silent Hill.
No, actually, that was the one I was thinking. I've actually never seen Silent Hill.
The first one?
Yeah.
It's actually not bad.
That's what I heard. I've never gotten around to it.
They take Silent Hill 2's story.
Yeah.
They mix Silent Hill 1 and 2's story and give the protagonist a gender swap.
Right.
But otherwise,
more like a Silent Hill 3.
The CG's a little bit dated, but like the effects and the horror are like really good.
Yeah, I still need to get around and watch it one day.
Sequel is terrible. Don't watch it. Okay. It's literally
I'll stop at one.
Yeah.
You know what? I think what I just realized I was thinking of, I was trying to think of Castlevania on Netflix.
That doesn't count.
Which is not a movie. It's a short series.
Yeah.
So, yeah, fuck me. I guess Detective Pikachu is the best video game movie.
We'll find one. What about I never saw Need for Speed. I heard it was just boring.
That looked like a Fast and the Furious movie with a different name.
Yeah, with Science Bitch.
Yeah,
that guy from BoJack Horseman.
Aaron Paul.
Oh yeah, Warcraft, which was 2016. You didn't see it?
Nah.
I'm not a fan of the series, not because I hate it, but because I just never got into it.
Yeah.
But
I'm a little bit of a fan. You know, I was never part of like the World of Warcraft type fan, and I stopped. I was gonna say I stopped at Warcraft 3, but that's where everybody who played Warcraft initially stopped because there was nothing after that.
Yeah, and then WoW.
Yeah.
Just WoW. Prince of Persia with my boy Jake G.
That one was fine, I guess. It was a little boring.
It was boring.
Yeah, I found it boring. And why would you cast Jake Gyllenhaal in that role?
Yeah.
Like you should have seen that coming.
The whitewashing and stuff. Yeah. You got Ben Kingsley doing his best.
Yeah.
I like Gemma Arterton, but that's just because she's pretty. I'm just a boy looking at a girl. Tekken.
No.
No?
Oh, do we count animation in this?
I guess we can. Why?
Movies. Because there was a Tekken OVA way back in the day. Either late 80s or early 90s. That was just called Tekken.
I'm looking for
it. It's great. I saw that thing when I was probably way too young to see it. I think I was like 6.
Is it like easy to find on like YouTube or something? Or?
Probably, yeah. If you just do like Tekken anime, probably it'll show up.
All right.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun.
Cool. I'll have to check it out. I've never been that much into Tekken, like the story and the characters.
You don't have to be. This is like kind of a encompassing of like Tekken 1 through 3, I think.
Oh, cool.
So,
all right, I'll give it a check. We're back to live action. I A lot of sequels here. All the Resident Evil sequels, which I never watched the final chapter. I need to rewatch the series. I'll get back to you on
stopped
that.
at the third one.
Extinction.
I fell asleep during that movie.
Did you really?
You
got the tyrant shows up at the end though.
Yeah, I didn't get that far. I got about 30 minutes into it.
It's got Ian Glenn in it, man. That's Jorah Mormont.
Yeah, well, I mean, if I had watched it after Game of Thrones, sure.
Be like, oh no, Jorah turned into a giant monster. Oh, spoiler.
Yeah, wow. People are just coming in for a Detective Pikachu chat, and you're just dropping Game of Thrones spoilers out of nowhere.
I did not. Jorah's dead. I mean... All right. We're going to talk about episode 4 for a little bit.
Okay.
That's going to happen. Because I talked to my coworker who's a fan, and he's just excusing everything. I need to vent. All right.
Yeah. Go. Yeah.
There's going to be some yelling.
Well, let's finish up Detective Pikachu here real quick.
I guess, yeah. We'll just go back to the actual topic at hand.
The short answer is no. There is really nothing else to report for video game movies that might outrank it.
You should try the Tomb Raider reboot.
It's bad, man. Like, it looked like it was on a budget, like, big time when I was seeing the trailer.
A big time budget?
Like a small budget.
Oh, okay. It wasn't that bad. It just, there was some cringy, like, dialogue moments, but it was a lot better than the Laura Croft or the Angelina Jolie movies. Monster Hunter, they're making a movie. That's cool.
Yeah. Well, that's going to be a trash fire.
That's directed by the guy who did the Resident Evil movies. So
I repeat, that will be a trash fire. Do you know the synopsis of that Monster Hunter movie?
No, I was just clicked on it, and you watched me click away from it, and now I'm clicking.
I know I just said we got to finish up Detective Pikachu, but I'm going to go off on this Monster Hunter movie.
Read the premise.
Well, I can't see it.
Okay, a United Nations military team falls into a portal to an alternate dimension where humans fight off giant monsters. The two groups work together to defend the portal to prevent... This is Stargate.
That's what it is. Yeah. And it also sounds awful. Why would you do this?
But it's got T.I. Harris and Ron Perlman.
Why do you need portals in New York City? You don't need a fucking Rathalos going on the Empire State Building.
Did they say New York City?
I'm pretty sure. It might be faux New York, like, I don't
Chicago.
know. Downtown city.
Yeah. Tony Jaa? I'll go see it for Tony Jaa.
Oh, he'll die off screen.
No, he won't. Not if they want to make money overseas.
And
then we'll talk about Sonic the Hedgehog when the movie comes out.
Could have done like as dumb as Monster Hunter sometimes is, and it is fairly dumb fairly often. Like, you have somewhat of a world built there. Just use that and go off and do whatever you want. You don't have to put everything in, like, reality. And that's why this, just segueing into Sonic.
Yeah.
Like, you could have done a Sonic movie just fine without it being in...
Like, entirely CG
in
and
the Midwest.
Yeah.
Like, what the hell? It's just...
I don't... And that's the thing. A lot of people are focusing on the design of Sonic.
Like, oh, this looks bad.
Did you watch the rest of the trailer? Because the rest of the movie, besides Sonic, doesn't look good.
No, it does not.
Anytime you have James Marsden in a movie, it's not going to be good.
I love that thing with him in the car next to Sonic, and then below it, it's him in the car next to the fucking Easter Bunny from Hop.
Yeah, I saw that. I was like, that looks like a shot from the movie. Yeah. James Marsden. I typed in James, and that was the first name to show up, which pisses me off. Hairspray, X-Men, Enchanted, 27 Dresses, Sonic the Hedgehog, the show Dead to Me, which is, I think, that new show on Netflix. The Female Brain, Into the Grizzly Maze. I haven't heard of half of these.
I feel like I saw a trailer for that Grizzly Maze thing, but that's it. I just recognize the name.
Hold on. Oh, he's in the Taco Bell nacho fries commercial.
Oh.
Whoa!
That's the star power.
I'm in. Yeah.
I'm sure he's a very nice man.
He seems like a nice guy. Westworld, he's not bad in it.
Yeah. Well, yeah, he's definitely not Westworld's worst problem.
Yeah.
For sure.
that's a whole other can of
I don't want to.
cashews.
I often forget about Westworld as a result from the second season because I just.
I stopped watching the show after the second season. I literally watched all the way up until the episode right before apparently the best episode of the series, which is
in season 2.
In season 2.
There's nothing that was the best of the series in season 2.
It was apparently the one where Tandy Newton's character like fights off Indians or whatever. I can't remember the name of the episode. I think it was like episode 6 or 7 of season 2.
I don't remember the number.
And then I was like, I'm done. Because there's 3 timelines going on, and I don't know who's who.
There's not even a good payoff.
Really?
I am struggling to figure out whether or not I even want to keep watching it whenever they do come out with a season 3, if they ever do.
They probably.
It just shits the bed super hard.
Okay.
I don't remember the last time I've been more disappointed with the TV show. And this is coming off the heels of Game of Thrones.
Yeah. So, great segue. So you're all caught up on Game of Thrones. We're going into Game of Thrones spoilers. People.
Did we ever finish Detective Pikachu real quick?
It's great.
It's a good movie. Go see it.
It's good. It's fine. Go.
It telegraphs its twists pretty heavily.
Yes.
It's not going to make you have a jaw-dropping moment of realization.
But go see it to support.
I want more of
movies.
this. I want more of these good video game movies, even if they're not the best.
Yeah. But the more that they make them, the more that
the
they
better
learn from
they'll
the
be at
mistakes.
them. And this is a good place to start.
Yeah.
They did a good job, I think.
Yeah, for sure.
So nice little bow on that. Anyway.
Yeah.
What are we angry about now?
Game of Thrones. All right. Let's talk about episode 4 specifically.
Yeah.
Because I know I don't know if we ever talked about the long night.
We both talked about episode 3.
Yeah. Wait, episode 3 or episode 2? Episode 2 was the long night.
Did we do? No, the long night was 3.
I didn't do an episode last week.
Oh no, 3 was Battle Winterfell. Yeah, I don't know.
No,
episode 3 is dark. That's my takeaway.
Was it last week's that was the Battle of Winterfell?
Yeah. No, last week's was the one we're about to talk about after the Winterfell battle.
We're recording on Saturday, the day before episode 5. So yes. So yeah. I'm just my timeline's all messed up. I've been working.
It's kind of weird.
I've been working a lot.
Yeah.
So let's talk about episode 4, which is basically set up for episode 5.
Yeah.
A lot of dumb decisions were made.
Yeah. Man, they can't. They have the ball. And it should be the easiest walk to the goal.
Yeah.
There's no people around to block the shot or anything like that. This is how far
I like your sports metaphor. Sure.
I was trying to think of what the actual
kicking a
position
ball
was,
towards the
and
net.
I went with people. So if I had started with football, I think it might have been a little easier. Here, I'll restart.
Please.
They have the ball after the hike, right?
Sure.
And it's like they have no offensive linemen blocking them. Or no, defensive linemen. See, I'm already fucking.
I play sports.
No defensive linemen are on the field. It's just their team. All they have to do is walk the fucking ball into the end zone.
Yeah.
See, I'm recovering. This is okay. That's all they have to do. And then when they get there, spike it.
Yeah.
Do a little dance.
Yeah.
Make a little love.
Get down tonight.
Yeah. But not in public because it's against the law.
Yeah. Or on the field.
And
if we're
they're
sticking
just
to the
making
metaphor.
these decisions that...
So, do you want to just kind of... We'll cherry pick the ones that we're upset about, right?
Yeah.
I have 3 in particular.
Okay. Go for it.
I did the rock sign.
Go off, man.
First one, because it's brief, the Braun scene.
Yeah, that was no payoff.
First off, he just shows up to the enemy camp with a
Yeah.
crossbow.
Just
and
walks in.
walks into the room with Jaime and Tyrion and goes, "Hey, remember when we were best friends? Yeah, fuck you."
Yeah, we weren't actually friends.
The whole time.
He has always said he's out for himself.
Yeah, but you were always like,
but you're like,
but you're friends.
He's like mercenary with higher gold.
Yeah.
No, he's just a mercenary.
Yeah.
That's fine.
He's just a dick.
Which maybe, that they still have time to turn that around. He could have a scene in season 5.
Maybe, but I mean...
Episode 5, sorry.
It's going to be very weird because we only have 2 episodes left.
Yep.
And they're both an hour and a half-ish. 80
and
minutes.
this next one's going to be battle.
Yeah, it's all battle.
So... last one will maybe be a little bit of battle at most, like maybe the very end.
I would think
But
it's
probably
all
just
epilogue.
Fallout.
Yeah.
It's just going to be wrapping up.
Yeah.
Which I don't know how satisfying that's going to be.
Why did they make these seasons short?
Well, and I was talking to my wife about this the other night. It's like, yeah, they're extending the length of these episodes to mostly an hour and a half. There was episode 2, which I think was under an hour. I think
yeah,
it was
or episode 1. It was 1 or 2.
54 minutes or something like that.
Yeah.
But even if you do that, I think the math adds up to something like 10 hours of content.
Yeah.
Like with that extra half hour.
So edit your asses off.
And episodes or shows struggle to close off stories with 20 episode runs.
Yeah.
With hour-long episodes,
Yeah.
So I don't understand why. I guess it was a budgetary thing because they were like, oh, we'll just spend more money on the battles. And, like the battles are cool and all. Like they're really neat.
Yeah.
But I could have done with just one and then had like, another 5 episodes.
Yeah. Here's the thing, like, it's from a writing standpoint,
especially
too.
Since episode 3 you couldn't really see the damn battle anyway.
I could see just fine.
Wow.
Maybe it's because I was watching on a computer screen and I was.
Well, we were also. I think it had something to do with having to watch it the night of.
Yeah. There was some bandwidth issues.
Even if you were streaming, I think it struggled.
Yeah. There was some blacks that were not showing up.
Yeah.
Whoa, that sounded.
Well, it's not awkward if you just leave it.
Just leave it. Okay. The episode was dark. I thought that episode, because a lot of characters not necessarily made stupid decisions, but the plot armor was so thick for those characters.
Oh yeah. Well, and yeah, I get. I'm not sure if we ever talked about this, but I was shocked about how many people left the Battle of Winterfell alive.
Yeah. It would have been way more. I mean, it wouldn't have been like happy and like poetic, but it would have made more sense with the tone
and
of the rest of the show.
The whole show, up to the point where they went off script from the George R.R. Martin books, because there are no more to go off of, was like kind of twisting this typical high fantasy stuff around.
Yeah.
It's like not what you're
subverting
used to.
it.
Yeah, thank you. Subversion was the word I was looking for.
Yeah.
The heroes do not always win. There's not always a magical moment in which the good guy makes it out.
Yeah.
And I think they're just kind of like falling back the other way. And it honestly, I struggle with whether or not Benioff and Weiss did we just think they were good this whole time because they were going off pre-established script?
I think it's a J.J. Abrams effect, and hear me out. J.J. Abrams makes his best movies when they're already adaptations of previous work. Let's just be honest. When he makes original,
you don't have to lay it out for me like
that.
I'm not a big J.J. Abrams fan. So.
Like Super 8, his original content, it wasn't great. In fact, it was just references to Spielberg works.
Hey guys,
Lost.
Remember Steven Spielberg? Remember E.T.?
Yeah,
really great.
Yeah. So, but when he does like Mission Impossible 3, fantastic. Star Trek, fantastic. Star Wars, fantastic. I think.
Yeah, give or take a few beats, but yeah. Overall.
Force Awakens specifically.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So when he already has the groundwork for it, there are people out there in the world who are like, we're creative, but we also need a little bit. We need some blueprints here,
right? And
then we can build up from there. That's what I figured out with D.B. Weiss and David Benioff.
And because of that, I'm nervous for the
Star
Wars trilogy.
Oh, for sure.
Because when that news first broke, I was like, oh, hell yeah.
Yeah.
I am so down for that. And then just how many, like, weird loose ends there are in this especially the last season. I don't remember this. Like, there were definitely some kind of iffy stuff in season 6. What season are we in?
We're in season 8.
So in season 7, there were some iffy bits with, like, the travel time and whatnot.
With the Gendry running. That was the first red flag.
There weren't a whole lot, and this season feels like there are a lot.
They're just going.
They're sprinting to the end. They are not looking back to double check that they covered their tracks or anything.
Yeah.
And man, I still have hope that there's going to be at least a good payoff at the end, because that's going to be really disappointing to have it just shit the bed.
Yeah,
right at
have
the
all of
end.
these characters alive, which have no reason to be story-wise. Like all the people leaving Winterfell after, oh man, that was a tough battle. All right, bye. We're not staying in
Right.
Winterfell.
And it's like, I feel like, I've been avoiding just Game of Thrones discussion on the internet in general leading up to the season, because, there are all the fan theories, like, what's this with this? And, like, I knew a decent amount going in of the fan theories, because there's only so much you can avoid. But I didn't, like, really dive in, because, like with Lost, the theory, spoiler for if you still at some point want to watch Lost, there was a theory ongoing from, I think, like season 2, like super early, that was like, yeah, they're in limbo.
Yeah.
They're in purgatory. That's it. And then I don't remember who the creators were on that after JJ left.
It was Damon Lindelof and
the other
someone
guy.
else.
Lindelof is who I was specifically thinking of.
Yeah, because he works with J.J. Abrams a lot.
And they're like, no, it's definitely not that. You're wrong. Just keep watching. You'll be surprised. And at the end of the show, it's purgatory.
Yeah, it's purgatory. Because they probably took that theory and was like, that actually
I feel
works.
like at this point, I probably could have been okay reading all these fan theories for Game of Thrones, because it really doesn't feel like they're going to do anything out there or like
actually subvert like they did in the past.
Interesting,
Yeah.
But I don't know. I would love to be proven wrong, but yeah. And I will say that I definitely did have problems with this last episode in terms of like
being able to see the ships and doing nothing about it.
Yeah, like you're flying over the cliffs. How do you not see the ships? Or why would you not think that your enemy would camp out your hometown?
Yeah. Why would you go back and think, yeah, that's all right.
Yeah, that's fine. They're probably not over here.
While we were up north, they just stayed in
Our
King's Landing.
army has been decimated by like a good third or half at least.
It was like, oh, we only lost half of our army.
Yeah.
Bullshit. Bullshit.
And you're not like prepping for the worst scenario. Yeah, it's weird. But I will say, I think I'm just enjoying the slower, quote unquote, episodes of this season more than the big ones. Like Winterfell was cool.
The Sansa and Dany talking and going like, hey, do you love my brother? He's like, yeah, I love your brother.
That's more interesting to me.
Yeah.
I find that way more interesting, and like the political aspect of it, of like a warden trying to like barter like their freedom from this like invader who's like also trying to benevolently at this point kind of be like, okay, but rein it in.
Yeah.
Stop being kind of an ass about this. That's more interesting to me than, an hour and a half of battle footage. And again, the battles are really cool. That's not why we started watching Game of Thrones.
Yeah, it was the political intrigue. It was the characters.
They had a scene in, was it season 1 where Tyrion gets knocked out?
Yeah, it was like the start of a battle and he gets hit in the back of the head.
He gets hit in the back of the head. They don't even show us the battle.
Yeah.
We still came back for season 2 because the more interesting thing is not the fighting.
We didn't get an actual battle until Battle of Blackwater, which was season 2, episode 9.
And even that was like so
it was like 2
crazy
scenes.
Because the rest of the season was so slow.
Yeah.
And I don't know, maybe they were just in between a rock and a hard place because they had so many people screaming at them because the show was meandering, so to speak, according to these people.
Like we need to. I think because they made a commitment, like, hey, we can do it in this amount of episodes, and HBO's like, okay, you have the budget for this amount of episodes.
Or maybe they just really want to get rolling on the prequel series. I don't know. But
but like you lose your fans for the entire franchise when you do stuff like this.
Well, it's like you can't please everyone, and if you try to, you end up no one's happy.
That's why you make this. Everyone. That's why you make the story you would enjoy watching.
Right.
And that's it. That's all you worry about.
Well, and there is a fine line between that too. Like some people can really pull that off and just keep on going, like David Lynch.
Yeah.
Because he don't give no fucks.
Oh no.
He'll do whatever the hell he wants.
Twin Peaks season 3.
Season 3 of Twin Peaks will tell you that.
Ooh.
He does not care.
I did not
and
finish
he
that.
will still get hired.
Yeah.
So, but like all in all, like we can say that we can make that Twin Peaks joke because most people didn't enjoy season 3.
Yeah.
So, yeah, you do want to do what you as a creator does enjoy, but I think there is a fine line to tread between, creators' wishes and understanding. Like, you can even go back to Game of Thrones. The response from the cinematographer about how many people did not like how dark that battle was.
I didn't read this. What did he say?
Oh, it's great. You apparently just need to recalibrate your TV.
That was his response?
That was his response.
My TV is calibrated dark HDR.
Well, so is mine.
Yeah.
And it's still dark as fuck. Or at least it was when I was streaming it that night.
Yeah.
Which, again, that could be the case.
And they may have
but I
edited
think even going back, I think it's more of a coloring thing. It's a choice. And I know it's a choice because they had said separately from that response that they wanted it to be naturalistic. They wanted the only light to be coming from
the
nature, like the fire and stuff. And as a creator, you are more than happy. I'm more than happy to let you make that choice. Like,
for sure.
I don't control what you create.
Yeah.
But you also have to have some realistic understanding of how people are gonna digest your work.
Yeah.
And
be prepared for this kind of response.
Uppity.
Yeah.
About that response when you're literally putting it out there for people to consume. That is the whole point of making the show. So I don't know. Maybe they're getting crushed under the weight of the show itself. I don't know.
It's just characters acting. Like, I'm not as mad as some people are online, like, just going all out.
No.
I'm trying to give it the benefit of the doubt.
Right.
There's still 2 episodes left. Maybe a lot of stuff will happen.
Yeah. Well,
we'll see.
That, like, if a lot of stuff does happen, is it paced well enough?
Yeah.
Or is it going to feel like we're just tying up? Because, frankly, I thought a lot of loose ends were going to get tied up in episode 3. Well, now we still have a lot of those loose ends open. So we have even more to tie up by the end. So if they do tie up all the remaining loose ends in these last 2 episodes, is it going to feel even more rushed than if they had just let it develop naturally?
Like, for instance, if we have this battle and like 90% of the characters die, are we going to be like, whoa, that's too many characters who died?
I can't properly take this in. There's so many fan favorites. If Jamie, Brienne, Pod, all these secondary characters, just start dying in every scene, and it's an hour and a half, so you could very well kill off 80% of the cast in that time frame.
It's funny that we're talking about Game of Thrones and all of this, but when we keep mentioning all of these character deaths, I think about Hogwarts.
Right.
And I think of the last 2 specifically the last Harry Potter movie. Oh, I guess the part 1 and part 2. Where they kill off characters so well. And they even kill off characters that people loved from several movies before off screen.
Oh,
like Lupin and Tonks.
Yeah. And it still works, I think, in that sense. And it especially works in the books because you have the kind of, not the inner monologue, but, there's a narration.
Yeah.
Of, how these characters are kind of taking these deaths.
Yeah, you're able to see a lot, which is funny. You're able to see a lot more in the book than you are in the movie.
Right, but even in the movie, it's paced where he's walking past these people.
Yeah,
and you can see grief.
The effects
of these deaths.
Mm-hmm.
If all of these characters are dying, this is something like 30 characters.
Yeah,
we have here coming into the end game. If those 30 characters die all in the same battle, and some could even die in episode 6, but if the majority die in one battle, that how do you even take that in? Because in Harry Potter, it works because there's 4.
Yeah, you have the 3 kids.
There's 4 deaths that and I think there's actually more than that, especially if you include really incidental secondary characters.
Yeah.
But the ones that really matter to the people watching at that point are given some sort of context, some sort of time to breathe. Like, if you are focusing on the battle, the ramifications of the battle, the interpersonal kind of connection between the certain characters, you have to devote time to Jaime and Tyrion, Jaime and Brienne,
and those interactions, because
that
was all the seasons before. It was build up of these relationships with the characters,
and it's go back to Harry Potter. The interaction that you really focus on is Harry and how it affects him, or
Yeah.
you know, in the case of some family members, the Weasleys.
Yeah.
You know? But you don't have to like tie this up in a neat bow that's satisfying. And there's so many side stories just with character development on its own, not even including the plot.
Yeah.
That I honestly don't know how they're gonna do it.
That's the biggest difference between the two franchises, really.
Yeah.
So you have this entire series has been treating every character as their own main character, their own story. Yeah. So when a character dies, like Ned Stark, spoilers, you go, oh, I thought he was the main character.
Yeah, he was the main character.
He was on the poster.
And then in season 2, oh, okay, now Rob's. Oh, nope, he's not.
Yep. So, I mean, it's crazy to see how this show has changed over the last couple of years.
Yeah.
And I'm excited to see what happens. I'm still like I'm amped up. I'm excited.
Well, yeah,
I want
at
to
this
see.
point, we're so invested in it. Like, there's no way you can't.
You're 200 feet from the finish line.
2 episodes.
Yeah.
3 hours. Like you can do it.
Yeah.
Even if it's painful.
If you can do it for Endgame, you can do it for Game of Thrones.
Right. Well, and this is split up between 2 weeks.
2 weeks. So we're gonna have a cliffhanger no matter what.
Fingers crossed.
Yeah. But I think that's a good point to wrap up. So go see Detective Pikachu.
Yeah.
Just a little bit of a summary.
It's a kind of a weird world in which we come here during the week and say your best bet is Pokemon over Game of Thrones.
Over Game of Thrones. Yeah. You might have a better chance of enjoying Pokemon over Game of Thrones. But I'm still looking forward to everything that's coming out in the next couple of weeks. We named a couple of movies, mostly video game movies, but thanks for coming, Zach.
No, thanks for having me.
Yeah, thank you. And thanks so much for listening. Take care.